Live show. Who's here? Hello, everybody. It's time for the live show. Everybody, get on the live show. It's time to be live. It's time for the live show. Time for the live show. Time to be live together. You and me. See you later. So, I don't know how much longer I can push these meatballs before they go bad. See, my freezer doesn't really freeze. It's more like a cold refrigerator. So, these have technically been non-frozen for over a week. They're pre-cooked, so that means they might be okay and I might not die. But if I get violently sick in the middle of the show, you'll know that I was trying to be cheap and not buy more meatballs because I wanted to use up all these first. Hi. Hi. So I have my 5 cheese penne pasta cooking in the microwave, and then I'm going to throw in this I'm going to smush up some of these meatballs and throw them in to make the protein, because I mean that 5 cheese penne pasta is delicious, but I don't know if that's the right expression for delicious. Delicious. But anyway, it doesn't have enough protein. I like to pretend I'm on a high protein diet. What I really do is I kind of double the protein and I cut the carbs in half, but I'm really eating tons of carbs still. And then I cheat by having like a really delicious dessert, like a whole sundae or slice of pie with extra whipped cream. So, in any case, hi. So, we're going to see if this works. I mean, it works. We're going to see if I can go one more day without buying new meatballs. So I have these pre-cooked meatballs in my not really frozen freezer. I think I'll throw them out after today, but for now I'll just put them back. Because, this little mini fridge, the top freezer part doesn't really get as cold as a real freezer. And I can tell because they're rock hard when I first get them from the store. And then after the first day in my freezer, they're all like, I could smush them right up. So anyway. So now you're supposed to pull back the plastic film, the directions say. And do I have any forks left? A bunch of people sent me plastic spoons, which is helpful. Now I need to get plastic forks. So now I'm mixing it up. I'm supposed to mix it up a little bit. And, I gotta put these, I should have had these meatballs in while I was mixing that. So, anyway. Oh, Stephanie, don't worry. 90 days. We generally give 90 days for the sets to come. That's our new thing. Because that way, if the sets are lost forever, by the time the 90 days are up, you've usually lost our contact information or we've changed it so you can't find us anyway. And that way, everybody's happy because you realize it's not worth pursuing and you just move on with your life. And we don't have to do anything about it. So it's like everybody's happy. So you got by my count, I don't know, 62 more days left, and you're totally fine. So I guess I'll put this, I don't know how much I put it in for, because again, this wasn't frozen either, so I can't totally follow the directions, because the directions are based on if it's 100% frozen. Anyway, no, I'm never mean. I'm the most kind-hearted person ever, except with my food. I'm kind of cruel because I eat it very viciously. But anyway, so I have the camera sitting up on the shelf here, up against my Swiss Miss hot cocoa, because I'm so healthy. I think, speaking of which, I need to heat up some water, because I want to have hot cocoa with you guys while I eat my dinner with you guys. If you got everything else you bought, the best thing to do is just pretend you got the stuff you're missing, because then if you can convince yourself you did, then you won't feel bad. It's just mind over matter. Like, you convince your mind that you don't need the matter, and it doesn't matter. Whoa. Yeah, that was definitely, that's when they start to bubble, you figure, yeah, that's definitely enough, if not too much. So maybe I'll put these, are these hot? They're not super hot. I'll put those back in for the rest of the. So anyway, what else are we guys doing today? Yeah, Linda, don't put your hand near my plate. I'll be like, that's my finger. I'm like, I'm sorry. There, go pick it up. Well, Stephanie, can you find a photo of them? Send a photo if you can, because we might be able to recreate them. And then we'll send you a photo back and be like, look, we recreated them. Doesn't mean we're going to send them to you, but maybe you'll feel better knowing that there's now 2 different photos of them. All right, so putting this in for another 2 minutes. This is ready to mix. You guys could see this. See, here's the meatballs. Can you see them? I smushed them all up, right? So now it's just ground beef. And here's the 5 cheese penny pasta. And so now I'm gonna put them together. They slide right off this little container into the bowl. I love these big bowls. I don't know how anyone deals with small bowls. I always have to get extra large bowls. And the dollar store has these really large ceramic bowls. So it's, and look, and then I can save this container, I wash it out, and I put beads in it. So if any of you ever get any beads in your set that you have like little sticky red stuff on it, it's just tomato sauce. So just put it in your mouth, and your beads will be clean and good as new. Oh, and I also add Parmesan cheese, because you got to spice up stuff a little bit. You got to always deck it. You got to fix it up. Add stuff. What's it called? It's called doctor it. Yeah, you got to doctor it up a little. And then you mix it all, and mix it and mix it. See? Mix it. Mix it and mix it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. It's really good. For a microwave meal, it's like, it tastes as good as restaurant food once I get it all ready and go. Like, it's ridiculously good. I can't believe. I mean, and the microwave thing was like $2.29 at Target. Like $2.29. And then the bag of meatballs was like $6, and I got like 8 meals out of that. So if you add how much meatballs I added to this bowl, it's the whole meal costs like $3. Yes, I do, Tiffany. I'll show you how to find it in a minute. But if you can find it before then, you go on Facebook and you search Matt's Crazy Art Group. Don't pick the page, you want to pick the group. It's different, and I'll show you how it looks different. Yep, this water is nice and hot now. So let me fill this with water so I can soak. There you go. So that's filled with water now. Now I can just put it to soak, and then I'll, scrub it out with a little soap and water, but I'll leave a little tomato sauce. So when I put beads in there, you guys can get the flavor of the tomato sauce that I'm eating will go into your kits, and you can, like, when you get them, you can take the beads and be like, oh, there's a little red stuff on there. It's tomato beads. All right, so now I take, all right, where's my boiled water? What do I do with that? I do a little bit of instant coffee. This is not the good stuff. The good stuff is actually the dollar store instant coffee. It tastes better. This stuff is a little bitter, but that's okay, because you'll see what we're going to do next. Put a little bit of that in. And then Then we take, where did that go? Then we take the Swiss Miss hot cocoa and we add a packet of that. And then I would prefer to add real half and half, but I don't have any because it always goes bad quickly if I try to buy it, so I just gave up on that. So, because I only use like a splash of it each day, and so if you use a splash of it each day, it goes bad before you use it all up, and then you feel wasteful. All right, so I put the hot cocoa, a little bit of instant coffee, and then this is also from the dollar store, vanilla powdered creamer. So that adds a little more sweetness, and it adds a little creaminess, and it adds a little vanilla. So you have like a vanilla and chocolate coffee, mocha, vanilla, mocha, chino, whatever. And you mix it all up. Believe it or not, this mug came from the dollar store too. I live off of the dollar store. That's how I've been able to build this art business. Before you guys were buying all this stuff from me and I was just like rolling around in the money, I just put all the money on the mattress and just roll around in it till it all sticks to my face. Before that, I was a starving person living off of ramen noodles, and I learned all these tricks. So the dollar store is my best friend. Still is my best friend. I can't leave the dollar store after all we've been through. So I have to sing sometimes to it. Dollar store, it's you and me forever. Let's put the Parmesan cheese back. And then we taste the coffee. I think I made it too hot, so I'm gonna add a little water. Just cool it down a tiny bit. I got this giant thing of water because I didn't want to carry all the big case of little ones. Sometimes I want to carry, other times I don't have time. It's not sweet enough. I'm telling you, that Nescafe is bitter. Now I'm going to add some of this stuff. Hopefully this doesn't go bad. I've had this forever without even, let's see. Yeah, I think this stuff stays good forever. It has like preservatives in it. So, some unknown info. Okay, well you can, well the coffee doesn't feel diluted because I add so much stuff, cream and sugar and hot cocoa packets and stuff. It's not really real coffee. It's like hot cocoa with a touch of coffee to give it a little caffeine because I don't want to drink a whole coffee this late. All right, Virginia. Here's how you can message me. You don't need to join that Facebook group just to message me. You can join the page and you can message me on the page. I was way up high before. Now I'm like all down low. Let me turn this. Okay. So you want to go to facebook.com//Macrazart. It's spelled M. I don't know if you're seeing these letters backwards, but it's spelled MACRAZART. So write that down. Get a pen. I'll tell you again. It's facebook.com/Macrazart. MACRAZART. M-A, Craz, as in crazy, C-R-A-Z, art. Macraz art. Or you can just say Macrazart. And it sounds like it's from Eastern Europe or something. So, okay, you can put this back. See, I despite all this unhealthy looking stuff, I did some healthy. I bought a bag of Gala apples. I like Gala because they're sweet, but they're not as sweet as Fuji. Fuji's like candy, but Gala is like crisp, but it's still pretty sweet on the apple spectrum. Can you believe Red Delicious used to be considered one of the better tasting apples? They're like nothing compared to today's apples. You got Fuji and Gala and all these other cool ones. Okay. There's like 50 different kinds of apples out there. Isn't that wild? All right, let me take you guys with me now. Oh, I can't carry all three. I'm going to have to come back. All right, I'm going to carry the camera and the pasta first. Honeycrisp, right. Okay. All right. I found a note from Marley, and her mom put it on my table as if I hadn't seen it before. It was just cracking me up. I was like, what is this? All right, so if you're going to join the Facebook group, you want to find this painting, and it'll be turned, whoops. But you want to find this painting. If you find this painting in the photo, you're in the Facebook group. Now, if you want to join the Facebook page, I think it's this painting. This painting is the Facebook page, and that's where you can message me directly. And I'll get your message later today, tonight. So that's the painting, okay? Can you see the difference? This is like a burst of light, like a crazy burst of light, right? And this one is an abstract guitar, okay? Okay? They're both blue, just to make it more confusing. So as you can see, Mary hung up the rest of the paintings, so now I got to figure out which ones I need to finish and which ones are ready to go up for sale. So if you guys want to buy a painting that I made, they'll be on Etsy. I'll try to put up a few tonight. I don't think there's any right now. Might be a couple left from before. So now let me go back and get the coffee. Sorry, I hope I'm not making you guys dizzy with all this spinning. Don't be dizzy. And oh, I ordered a bunch of glaze today. All kinds of glaze, so exciting. When I worked at the pottery studio, you know, you pay so much for classes, you just want to use the glaze they have. And they always had like very uniform, boring, the same exact 8 to 10 glazes for like 8 years I was there. But now I have my own studio. I can order any colors I want. And I was looking through all these colors. I had the guy on speakerphone from this pottery giant company. And we were talking through all the different glazes, and I got little tiny amounts of like a ton of different ones, so I can test them out and see what I like. And this is like melted glass over the surface of your clay, and all different swirls and colors and patterns. It's so exciting. Sorry, I'm like driving you crazy now, shaking all this. All right, I didn't taste it since I added more of the creamy vanilla stuff. Much better. Not the best I've made, but definitely enjoyable. And I'm not going to press my luck and add anything else. I'm just going to go with it. Plus, you guys are probably ready for the show to start. Or did the show already start? So here's some of my pottery from years ago. Some of my favorite pieces I couldn't bear to sell. And then some new ones I did just 2 years ago. But it was someone's idea to hide them in this little shelf until we figure out what to do with them. But this one I literally painted with acrylic paint. This is not glazed. And I painted it like 5 different times with purple, green, and blue sections. And then this is my style, this 4-sided twisty vase style. I invented it. I don't know if look at that, 2008. Isn't that scary? I'm sure other people out there have figured out how to do it, but I've never seen anyone do it. I kind of did it on my own. And then so this is also hand painted. This one is too dark. I want to repaint it, all the little sections with the same colors, just lighter. And this one always reminds me of salsa. That one's just really fun, super fun. What was that? Also 2008, years ago. So these I didn't even glaze. These are unglazed. This is the clay unglazed. I glazed the inside so it's waterproof, so it'll hold a flower. Now this one is one of my also, like, I love how that shape came out. Can you believe that? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that cool? And then there's a few that I don't know how they came out so perfect. This one, it's really hard to get them to come out perfect. I didn't use any tools to measure. I mean, look how perfect. It's not leaning to one side. It's just every part of it just swirls like it was done with a machine. And then here's my last favorite. Not only is this perfect, but every single side turns a perfect 90 degrees. Like, you see this side? It doesn't start down here. It starts way over there. So it comes up right here, and then it turns a perfect 90 degrees, so you think it's coming from this side, but it's not. It came all the way from over there. So this one And I just love how the black and champagne came out. I love how the colors came out on this. Those are my favorites. And then this is my favorite. Some guy offered to buy it twice, and at the last second, I couldn't even bear to sell it. This is just a simple one I did. This one's easily for sale. I like it, but this is the way this glaze came out, and the leaves are actually raised. I actually carved them out. I didn't just draw them. And the way the blue came out on that is just phenomenal. That one was just one of my favorites. I've never sold it. There's a few others back there I really like. But then, like, here's one that my friend's daughter made. It was really cute. She was like 9 years old. That was her first time playing with clay. She did awesome. And, yeah. So here's a more recent one. This is just a craziness. I'm gonna put that one up for sale. And then some blue glaze got on there from someone else's thing. I don't even know. But anyway, enough about that. Let's come back to my beautiful face. Yes, hi guys. Yeah, well, now that the pottery studio is like literally right here. Here's the pottery studio. It's right here. Dun, 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 dun. There's that kiln with a big trash bag on top of it. But the new cement floor, the slab roller, got buckets for my glaze. I got clay. This is the underglaze where you get to paint it. Like, I had to put my name on it when it was at the other studio. You get to paint it, and then there's some sponges, and then I got the new tools. And I made this little pegboard so you can put little pieces that are glazed and they won't stick to the table while they're drawing. I just heavy stapled a million staples through this very thin board, and that's how I ended up with this. All those little white spots are from glaze from years ago. And blue, that blue is from paint. I actually put paint on there a couple times. So anyway, yep. And the music studio is coming around too. There's so much work to do in this place. Look at all these instruments we got set up now. So fun. We've got our laptop with all the programs ready to go. Just, oh, I can't open it. Oh, with one hand anyway. But yeah, messy table. Got to get that organized. Drums are a bit of a mess too. Got to get them set up fully. And this is my brand new keyboard. It's full 88 keys weighted. I've had it for 2 years, never used it. This keyboard's 25 years old. I made an album on this when I was a wee little, is it 20 something? When I was like a preteen, I saved up money for like a year or so and bought this thing. And now I need to get a new battery for it. It's so old. But, all right, where were we? I probably put the coffee down somewhere without realizing it. Oh yeah, I put it down there with the pottery. All right, so all this stuff. So I need so much help. There's so many different facets to this studio. I don't even get done a third of what I want to get done every day. And I have my brother-in-law carving up stuff out of wood with his new CNC machine. Look at this heart box he made. It's purple heart. That's the color of the wood. It's a very exotic wood, and that's the color of the wood. That's why it's called purple heart, and it's super, super expensive. I think a guy gave him a couple scraps to make this piece, but just the wood to make this wooden heart box. See if I can put it down to open it. Just look how cool that is. He did that design. Just the wood, just that much wood. If someone hadn't given it to him, that much wood alone is like 60, 70 bucks. Like before he puts his work into making it. But I'm gonna put that one up if anyone wants to get it. I'm gonna put some semi-precious stones in it and see how high people want to go on it. Probably on Friday. This is the first week. We're gonna take off the whole week from Monday to Thursday. We're not gonna have another big selling show till Friday. All right, so let me set this up. Let's turn turn that. Yeah. Whoops, I gotta flip you guys around. There we go. That probably should plug in so it doesn't die also. Voila, no more shaky camera. So I've been totally ignoring your comments for the last 5 minutes because I've just been rambling. Let's see, what are we reading? What are people saying? People are talking. People are talking about people. They got some nerve. Can you believe it? I think they're wondering about people. Oh, thank you, Lydia. Chicken vegan tacos. Wow. Where do you find vegan chickens? I feel like most chickens like to eat bugs and worms and stuff, but if you can find vegan chickens that only eat grass, I guess they would make pretty tasty tacos. Thank you, Medicine Heart. I'm reading it, Joey, except it doesn't say anything except to read it. So you can tell it's laundry day because I'm wearing a shirt that actually has writing on it. I like to wear shirts that are just solid black. Yeah, you know, chickens eat bugs. Chickens eat, yeah, they eat worms. Well, most birds eat worms, right? That's a stereotypical thing. Most birds actually eat insects. That's a thing. Spiders, you know. Chickens, they hunt for grubs, worms, insects, anything. They also eat grass and you know, seeds and whatever. They're pretty versatile, but chickens are a great source if you want to live on your own, like off the grid. They give you eggs and meat. And if you take good care of them, the hardest part is keep predators away from getting them. But if you can manage to keep predators away from them, they can almost live off the land and just take all the seeds and the bugs that are hiding in your grassy area, if you own some land, and turn it into meat and eggs for you. Sort of. I don't know how hard that is to raise chickens without actually buying grain to feed them or whatever they eat. They die. They do fly. They do fly. They just don't fly very high. And depending on the breed and depending on how fat they are, they can fly. They can flutter their way up almost 10 or 12 feet, some of them, for briefly, just to get from one area to another, or to get up into a roost. But like silkies don't fly because they have, if you ever see, I only know all these breeds because my dad loves chickens, but silkies, their feathers actually don't have the spine, so the feathers can't catch air like this. They're basically made of down, like baby chicks, their whole lives, and they're called silkies. It's a genetic mutation that was bred into them, you know, by breeders, but they look cute, but they don't fly at all. Yep, isn't it great? It's a great mug. And it's weird because it's kind of square, and that's something when I had a pottery studio, I tried to make a square mug several times. I actually did. Now, the easiest way, this is just rounded, and then you just flatten the sides by hitting them like this. I tried to go way harder. I tried to take 4 actual sides and glue them together, and then somehow shape the top and shape it until it turned round, and then have it morph from round to square as you went down. It's a lot of work. Those are the days I used to work for 12 hours on something and sell it for 20 bucks, because it was just all about the art, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to sell it for 20 bucks. I wanted it to be worth the effort I put into it, but I didn't know how. Nobody taught me. There was no Matt's Crazy Art to teach me how to make money on art. I had to figure it out myself. And figure it out I did. Very, 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 basically I did everything wrong. I spent 7 years doing every possible thing wrong. And then once there's nothing left to do wrong, then I learned to make money. And that's why I tell you in videos, here's how to do it. So you don't have to do the 7 years I did of doing everything wrong. Yeah, Stephanie, take a photo of your pieces Take a photo of your sets or find the photo and put it in a message if you can do that. And Marley will remake it for you. I would say I would, but I'm irresponsible and I'll never read it. Marley will remake it for you and we'll get it to you. I talk so much now this is getting cold. Mmm. It's yummy though. I need to get a couple more waters. I need like 3 waters to get me through any meal. Kimberly, except in my case, it wasn't failing forward. It was failing to the left, failing to the right, failing back up. I was doing a whole cha-cha dance with my failing. To the left, to the left. Every time you fail, it's going back to the left. To the right, to the right. Now cha-cha. That was me failing. I did the cha-cha fail. And I did the hokey pokey fail. You put some money in, and you take some disappointment out. You put some more money in, and you shake your empty wallet all about. And you do, oh no, I'm failing, and you turn yourself around, and then you cry yourself to sleep. James, that's a way. Just have fun. If you can afford to just have fun, I mean, do it. My best friend Jeff, he told me, he said, Matt, one day you're going to come back to making those pottery vases again. Because I couldn't sell the pottery vases well enough to make money. I was making a little bit of money, but I couldn't sustain myself. So jewelry is how I made money. Jewelry is not, let you guys in on a little secret, a couple of you know, not most of you, but I didn't choose to be a jewelry artist. I never in my life looked at jewelry. I never wore jewelry. I never noticed jewelry on any woman. I didn't pay attention. I just realized in the pottery studio one day that someone squished some clay and put it on hooks and fired some little squished pieces of clay. It looked like chicken nuggets after she squished them in her hands. Poked little holes in them, fired them, glazed them, put them on some hooks, hung them up, and a student in the studio bought them for 15 bucks. Like 10 minutes after she hung them up. And I was like, 15 bucks? I watched her squish them. 15 bucks for some squished pieces of clay just because they're jewelry? That was it. That was the end for me. Next thing you know, literally 2 days later, I have a slab of clay across the table and I'm taking my little needle tool and cutting out hundreds of little discs and little ovals and little whatever and then poking holes in all of them. It was like a bakery. It was like tons of tiny little cookies, clay cookies, just spread out over the table, baking them all, glazing them. I didn't even know how to put a jump ring on. I didn't know what a jump ring was. I didn't know how to add the hook. I had to bug this friend. I'm like, can you teach me how to make this into jewelry? It was literally like 2 weeks. This is before people would go to YouTube for a lot of stuff. YouTube was around, but it was so new. So I kept begged my friend and chased her around for like 2 weeks before she finally showed me how to put jump rings on and earring hooks. And that was it. And the next little art show I went to, I had my vases set up on one side, and then I had a board full of, actually I started with these white boxes. I had these white, because I saw someone else do it. I stole it from them. I found online where to get these white boxes, and I would line them up on the table with the pair of earrings in each box, or a necklace. And at that next show, I sold like 2 vases and 30 pieces of jewelry. Next show, I sold 1 vase and like 50 pieces of jewelry. It only took about 10 more shows before I had no pottery. I was just selling jewelry, filling up the whole table with jewelry. And then here's my story of a lovely lady who was squishing clay and teaching me how to sell it. No, but then the only problem with my jewelry is people loved the ceramic pieces, and these women in college, they're going out to parties, they wanted bigger colorful earrings. Can you really make earrings out of clay and glass, like stone and glass, that are big and colorful? No, you'll tear their ears. So I had to make them paper thin. Paper thin. Well, what happens to paper thin glass and stone? Every time I would set up, I literally had to drop an earring this far to the table and it would shatter. That's how fragile they were. So any woman wearing my earrings, all she had to do was just drop it on. She didn't even have to drop it to the floor. She just dropped it on her dresser from 1.5 feet up. She would lose that earring. That's how fragile they were. So people are still loving them, but very few people still have those earrings to this day because they don't survive very well. But so then I was like, how do I make all these beautiful colors but not have them be fragile? And I went back to my wood shop, because part of the story I didn't tell you is before I did ceramics, I actually had a wood shop. I was doing furniture, so that was that whole story. So I went back to my wood shop and I started slicing up very, very thin pieces of wood, like paper thin pieces of wood, and then I started adding paint and staining them and wood burning them and making crazy patterns like the ones you see in these paintings. And then I had big, giant earrings like this big, but they were paper thin and they weighed nothing. And yeah, Lydia, I'm going to put some of these paintings on Etsy. I'm going to try to do it tonight. And so, look for them late tonight if you're still awake, or maybe tomorrow. So then people were buying up all this wood jewelry. And then I met some wire wrappers at a show, and I held off on wire wrapping. I was like, that's not real art. I'm a real artist. That's like assembly. That's like buying a model airplane and putting it together. That's not art. Like, you follow a pattern, you take something that's already made and you wrap some wire around it by somebody else's pattern. That's not art. I was very against it. I was a purist. It's like, you have to sculpt from raw materials. You have to take the paint and make something that nobody's seen before. That's art. But anyway, I started wire wrapping some stuff. And that stuff sold like 10 times faster than my wood stuff. So what did I do next? Next thing you know, my whole table is wire wrap stuff. James just wanted to display his rock collection. This tastes better than restaurant quality. And it was $2.29, plus the meatballs were like another $1. Nobody's talking. Everybody stop talking. Hi, Debbie. Debbie tried to add me to a Facebook group about people who are enthusiastic about pet raccoons. It was really funny. I screenshotted it and I made my own post, and like everybody was laughing. Poor Debbie felt bad, like she thought I was mad at her. And she sent me this long message about how she didn't really mean to add me. She just thought I might be interested. So then I doubled down and I took more photos from that group and put them on my Facebook, and more people were laughing. And poor Debbie was just crying her eyes out because she thought I was still mad. All right, so Cindy, I got this at Target. I probably have it at Walmart or Acme or wherever you guys shop. So this is Lean Cuisine 5 cheese pasta. It's penny pasta, like Penne, I think. I mean, I don't know if it says that on the box. Actually, I could get the box out of the trash. But anyway, it's Lean Cuisine 5 cheese pasta. And then what I did, in the same general section of those, the big freezers that go all the way down the aisle, I found a bag of pre-cooked meatballs. And that's it, just pre-cooked meatballs, frozen, right? And what I would do, if they stay frozen, you got to put them in the microwave for about 45 seconds to soften them. And then I literally take them in my fingers and I just smush them up into ground beef. Or, if they're still too hard, you can take, like, don't cut yourself, but you could take like a butter knife and slice them. And then I throw that together, and then I put about 3 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, like sprinkle Parmesan cheese. And then I cook the pasta dish the way it says on the instructions. I heat up the ground beef for like a minute. I mean the meatballs, maybe a minute and a half. And then I put them all together with the Parmesan cheese and I just mix it. And that's it. And it tastes better than a $10 restaurant meal. And those meatballs are like $6-7 for a bag that you could probably get like 8 or 9 meals out of it. Because I only take about 5 meatballs, maybe 6. Because once you break them up, they like make a lot of. It's a good amount of protein. And there's like 40 meatballs in the bag. Debbie Goebel, my mom used to make macaroni and cheese with sliced hot dogs. And that seems like something only kids would like, but you bring it to a party and adults will eat that up. Real easy. Very simple. Kimberly, that's because, first of all, you're in the middle of a shutdown. Secondly, selling is the hardest thing in the world. If you listen to my story is 7 years of not selling anything. Even when I was selling stuff, I wasn't selling enough to live on. Selling is hard. Really hard. Selling is more of an art even than most art. Selling is an art. And I could teach classes on selling. I might have Marley follow me around this summer, and I might go to some craft shows, and you'll get to see how I talk people into buying stuff. I used to feel guilty about it. I used to think it was manipulative. Like, that's not how I shop. When I shop, I know what I want. I go in, I get it. If you talk to me at all, it's because I need help finding it. Once I find it, I buy it, I get what I want, I'm out. I don't want people talking to me. I don't want people trying to talk me into buying something. I thought everybody was that way. They are not. The average person at a craft sale is bored. They want entertainment. They want excitement. It's like the average person at a bar wants the bartender to listen to their stories and tell them stories. And it's the entertainment. That's why you pay literally 10 times more for a drink at a bar than you would pay if you bought the alcohol yourself and mixed it at home. You buy the alcohol and mix it at home, that drink will cost you like 75 cents. Go out to the bar, the same drink costs you $7, but you pay for the $7 drink because it's the experience. Well, you take your little booth and you stop sitting behind the table like this, hoping people will buy. You get out there and you entertain people and you schmooze people. You turn it into an experience. And then they want to buy. And then I took it even further. I would trap them and almost make them force them to buy. And that sounds really manipulative. And you would think it is. But not one single person ever was like, I feel terrible, I didn't want to buy anything, and Matt forced me. Every single person walked away and said, I had the best experience. I didn't plan to buy anything, but Matt just made it so fun. And I had such a good time hanging out at his booth, I couldn't help but buy something, and I love what I got. So you're adding brightness into their life. If you think of yourself like you're a servant, and you are serving the public by adding brightness and excitement to their life, then the whole game flips. You're not a little craft person. Oh, woe is me. Nobody wants to buy my stuff. No, you are a servant on a mission. And Baxter Monkey's going to be like, Matt, you need to make this into a teaching video. And I know. You are a servant. Let me write it down. I'll make it into I always make these notes of what I want to make into a video next. And I put them all over the wall and I never follow through on most of them. But you are a servant serving the public to make their day exciting and fun or memorable? Okay, you don't even want to read how I wrote it. It was all messy. You couldn't fit it at the end. But anyway, once you see yourself like that, you're an entertainer. Now, if you're introverted and you're not an entertainer, I have two options for you. One, get out of your natural comfort zone and just learn it and see if you can enjoy it. Or two, bring that daughter, friend, uncle, person who is an entertainer and tell them, this is your challenge today. See how much money you can make for me. And then be like, I'll give you a cut. If you can break $400 today, I'll give you $100. You're going to give somebody $100 after you work so hard to make that stuff? Well, would you rather? Would you rather give them $100 and pocket $300? Or would you rather sit there for 8 hours being lonely and sad and make one sale and walk away with $25 when you paid $60 for the table? So you lost. Bring somebody who's, all you introverts, you have extrovert friends. Introverts and extroverts find each other, like they just balance each other. They find each other. Every introvert and extrovert has friends that are the opposite. You find that introvert friend, find that crazy friend of yours, and bring them and tell them, this is your challenge today. How much money can you make for me? Make it really hard. Be like, if we don't break 300, you get nothing. But if we break 400, I'm going to give you $100. And if we break 500, I'm going to give you 150 or something like I don't know. Do whatever however you want to break it down. Maybe they love you and they'll do it for free because it's just fun. Tell them you just buy them lunch and dinner, and you'll give them lots of hugs. But you know, all the world is a show. I think people spend $4,000 at Littman Jewelers because that teeny tiny little stone reflects the light really nicely. If you took that pure crystal diamond from Littman Jewelers or K Jewelers in perfect sterling silver setting and you put it in one of those teeny bopper stores where they have, they have a whole set, a whole cardboard full of little post earrings for $4. You got 12 pairs of little post earrings for $4. You know these little teeny bopper stores? If you took that $4,000 earring or set of stud, pure diamond earrings and put them in the teeny bopper store, nobody would know what they were, and nobody would pay more than $2 for them. Maybe $5, maybe $10. That's it. Why do they pay $4,000 at Littman Jewelers or K Jewelers? Because the ambiance of the store. Because the second you walk in, every part of that store says luxury, wealth, and fantasy. Every person in there is dressed in the most beautiful clothing. They're well groomed. They're professional. The countertops are immaculate and shiny. It's crystal and fine wood and beautiful carpets everywhere. And you walk in there and you're like, this is where the wealthy people go to bedazzle their lives. And if you can afford it, you save up and you buy a little piece to make yourself feel like you're part of that world. I'm a little bit part of that world. Well, that's your job. You want to sell your jewelry? That's your job. You don't have to get fine countertops and three-piece suits and $30 an hour salespeople plus commission. You're selling craft, handmade, fun stuff. So make your booth fun. Make yourself a crazy hippie entertainer. And if you can't do it, bring your extroverted friend and pay them something to help you. Plus, it's more fun to bring two people anyway. I've done a lot of shows all by myself, and It's boring. You don't want to be out there by yourself all day. There you go, Cindy. There you go, Jake. Well, Tiffany, you see somebody selling what you consider $5 China crap, you go buy that stuff. Go buy the same same stuff that you can sell for $5. And you know what? Have all your handmade stuff, and then have one little section $5 stuff. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to be a sellout. You don't want to just resell stuff that was made in China. First of all, that's up to you. Secondly, you can take the China stuff and just embellish it a tiny bit, add one little bead to each one, and suddenly you've made something that nobody else has. And that's all that handmade comes down to, is something that nobody else has because you put your hand on it and made it something different. Thirdly, what was thirdly? I don't remember what thirdly was. There you go. That's 1 and 2. So you beat those people selling that stuff at their own game. There's no such thing. No such thing as fair. Life is not fair. Life is a big, giant gladiator arena. And if you're still alive, you're doing something right. And if you want to live better, you fight harder. That's all it is. And quote me on that. Quote, somebody write this down. Ready? Get your pen ready. Life is not fair. There is nothing fair in it. Fair does not exist. You don't have to write all that, but you can. You can even pause this video if you're rewatching it. If you're somebody tuning in tomorrow and you're rewatching, pause it, write it, pause it, write it. No such thing as fair. Life is a gladiator arena. And if you're still alive, then you're doing something right. And if you want to live better, just fight harder. That's it. That's a secret to all of life. Everything. I don't care if you're on a bed with needles hooked up with respirators and all kinds of stuff hooked up to you, and you can barely only move one arm, and you're watching this show. You have a choice today to fight harder in whatever capacity you can, or just lay back and let life be unfair to you. There you go. Barefoot Hippies gave me my number 3. Yay, I'm not even going to say it. Everybody read what Barefoot Hippies said. That's my number 3. Thank you, Barefoot Hippies. And Barefoot Hippies, I happen to know, is a veteran crafter. So, she's established. Her brand name is established. People know about her. She should do a blog or something. Oh, you got to have a mirror. You bring a mirror, a handheld mirror. That's awesome because you can hold the mirror and angle it so they can see their face all pretty. But what I do, I have a tabletop mirror. One of those you can get in Walmart for like $5. Tabletop mirror that is on a hinge so they can angle it. And I have like 3 of them positioned at different parts of the table. And I have a fixed mirror, dollar store, fixed mirror up against one of my displays. And try to position it so the people, the most average height person, can see themselves clearly. Make sure you check it. Me being taller than the average woman, obviously, I got to position it a little lower than I would for myself. Yes, Bojangles. Jake is exactly right. I don't know if you got that from my video or you just know that instinctively as a good salesperson. Play the game. Does it sound manipulative? Again, people want to play this game. Raise your prices 20% and then tell people you're giving them a discount and drop them back down 20%. They would much rather play that game than you keep your prices static. Even if your prices are low, if they're static, it's not as much fun. People want to play the coupon game. And I told you, I tell this story in a video. J.C. Penney one time got a bunch of consultants who said, we're not going to take advantage of people and being manipulative anymore. No more coupons, because every big retailer knows the coupons are it's a game. They raise the prices so all the lazy people who don't cut coupons are going to pay more. They get more money. And then they give coupons so all the frugal people think they're getting a deal, and then they just drop it back down to the price they were going to charge anyway. So they make more money off the people who don't care about coupons, and they make more money off the people who get a coupon, and they say, now I got to go to JCPenney's because I have a coupon. So it's a great game. So a bunch of consultants said one day to JCPenney's, we're not going to play that game anymore. That's not fair. We're being manipulative. And for I think 2 whole quarters, which is 6 months, JCPenney's, and I think it's JCPenney's. It might have been a different store, but it's a big department store. They ran 0 sales, 0 coupons. Everything was reduced to the price that they were comfortable with, the lowest price they could afford to sell stuff for. And what happened? They had the 2 worst quarters ever. Nobody wanted to shop there because people don't want fair. People want to play the game, and you took away that game from them. They want to cut coupons. They want to feel like they're winning, and you took that away from them. So they go back to the coupons. So you play that game too. It is not, don't feel guilty. People want to play the game with you, so play it. Play the game. It's fun. Thank you, Vincent. Well, Betsy Ross, the secret is you triple your prices. Triple your prices, then go down half price. You're actually charging more in the end, but it feels different. And then if you make a brand for yourself, that's when you can charge a fortune for something. You can charge 4 times, 5 times, 10 times more. And there's Baxter Monkeys talking about Louis Vuitton. Because Louis Vuitton sells image. And they're playing a different game. They're playing the same game on a different level. They're playing the game they're selling the image of wealth. Their handbags might be made twice as good as somebody else's handbag, but they won't charge twice as much. They'll charge 25 times as much. And people want them to. They want them to charge that much because they want to feel when they get that handbag that not everyone can afford it. It's a status symbol. I can afford it, not everyone can. If they charged 10 times less, people wouldn't care. They wouldn't be interested. They want to play the game. If you don't like that game, find a game you like. Life is all about finding something you like. But don't be afraid to play a game. Don't judge yourself and say, that's manipulative. Right. People will buy the dead rat with the Louis Vuitton. The Louis Vuitton rat. Little picture a rat with a little handbag. What kind of negative feedback, Kimberly? Yeah, right. do you feel bad about raising your $20 item to 50 and then saying you're cutting it in half price, which makes it 25, so you're charging more and you're tricking them into thinking they got a value? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel bad? Guess what? For something that took way less effort, K Jewelers is selling something for $4,000, and it took them less effort than you put into your handmade piece that's one of a kind. So how is that fair? So stop thinking about fair and be the gladiator that wins. Your handmade piece is worth $200 to somebody. What is worth? Worth is just what people are willing to pay. There is no hard, concrete number for what anything is worth. Worth is just what the person in that moment is willing to pay. Let me show you something. I just made this video. You might have seen it. I made 5 green necklaces for my friend. Well, she picked the 2 she wanted. She wanted, and this is what you can do once you're a gladiator and you're strong. You can be generous too, because she wanted 1 necklace, and she overpaid me. I quoted her a price, and she paid me like 15 bucks more because she said, "You're quoting me a price too low." And I said, I didn't mind that she overpaid me. But I said, we agreed to a price and then you paid me 15 bucks more. That's unacceptable. And she said, "Well, you deserve it." And I said, "Well, guess what? I made 5 of these necklaces. You picked your favorite. Well, now you got to pick another one because I'm going to give you 2. I'm going to get you back for trying to pay me more." So she's like, "Don't do that. You don't have to do that, but I really do like this other one." So I found out the 2 she liked, so she's getting both. But here's the 3 that are left. There's this one. There's this one. Oops. Yep, there we go. Trying to get the camera to focus. And there's this one. Each of these, stop it, barefoot hippies. Each of these I could sell in a craft sale for $10 if I want to. Or I could sell in another type of sale with higher end people for $100. Each one for $100. Each one took me 5 to 7 minutes to make. Each one, I didn't pay that much for the stone. Or even this one is just 3 beads. Just 3 beads. Now that's malachite, which is a cool stone, but still, it's just 3 beads. They're all stone. They're all semi-precious stones, but they're beads. They don't cost that much. I could sell each of these for $100 if I got it in the right show. There is nothing wrong with that, because K Jewelers is selling something they put less effort into for $4,000. Now, if I was picked up by a celebrity, if Jennifer Lopez started wearing my beautiful necklaces and she was caught on the runway with them and everybody, my name was flashed all around the camera on Access Hollywood, I could charge $375 for this. Okay? Am I hurting anyone? No. That's a deal. $375 is a discount. Sandy Paul, you go. Look at you. I'm reading your comments now. You got to give me a second. I'm backing up. Right. Exactly. Actually, Judy, you're exactly right. That is, if you mean that by negative, how many people say I could make that myself, but they won't? You know, my favorite one is people think they're helping you. And sometimes they are. Sometimes, every once in a while, someone comes up with a, and I don't mean to disparage people who have this, because I do the same thing. When I see somebody doing something really cool and I think I can give them a new idea, a new twist, I give it to them. Hey, but it's this phrase, and I use it too, but if you do craft sales enough, you'll get sick of this phrase. Here's the phrase. Someone comes up to you and says, "Do you know what you should do?" And then they tell you how you should do something totally different with your art because they're sure that their idea will generate $1 million. And so the second half of their phrase, after they tell you what you should do, is you'll make a fortune. First phrase, do you know what you should do? Blah, 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 blah. You'll make a fortune. You know what you should do? You'll make a fortune. And then in between is whatever their idea is. To which I always respond. Now, I don't respond, but in my head, I'm telling them off because I don't want to be rude, but in my head, I want to tell them off. This is what I tell them in my head. I say, "Oh, really? Then why don't you do it? You don't want to be a millionaire? You have this great idea. Why don't you do it?" To which they would respond, "Oh, I can't do that. You're the expert. I'm no good at that." To which I would respond, "I'm the expert? Oh, then maybe I know what would make money and what wouldn't, and you have no clue. So get the bleepity bleep out of my..." I have this conversation in my head. It would never happen in real life. I mean, for cathartic reasons, I would love to have it just once and watch the person walk away like, oh my gosh, that is the rudest person. Artists are so rude. I can't stand this place. Let's get out of here, Jenny, or whoever's with them. That man was so rude. I was so nice to him, and he was just nasty. But it's not so much that I don't like to hear good ideas. It's a James is a guy who just tell him off. James like, I don't care. It's not that I don't like to hear good ideas. It's the attitude at which they bring it. Like they really think that they're giving you an idea that's going to change your life, and they're so up in their head. Look at them closely. They're probably not even looking you in the eye. They're probably looking over your shoulder because they're up in their own imagination, thinking about how smart they are and how clever they are. They're not even thinking about you. They're thinking about how smart they are. So when you bring them back down to earth and like, yeah, guess what, buddy? You don't think I've thought of 100 different ideas and tried out a bunch of them and figured out which ones work? I can tell you right now that idea is not going to work and it's stupid. If you actually said that to their face, they'd be horrified. But you would probably be the only person honest in that conversation because they're not being honest. They know deep down inside that they have no clue what's going to make you a fortune. They just want to believe that they're so clever, and they want to believe that they're changing your life. That they're ha ha ha. Look at, know what you should do, little one? I'm smart about everything. I can make anybody a millionaire. You should do this. You'll be a millionaire. And walk away. I helped that person out today. I gave them an idea. If they're smart enough, they'll listen to me. And they'll be a millionaire. I'm so full of good ideas. And then they go back to their little very, 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 very non-millionaire life because they don't follow through on any ideas they ever had. Actually, Judy and James should get together and just tell off all these people. That's it, James. Thank you. That's it. They can build a house because they own a hammer. Exactly. Exactly. When I used to make little kids' books, when I was a teacher, I would doodle and make little kids' books to help kids read. I had this one book called A Man Builds a House. This is kindergarten. I'm simple words. But I illustrate a man. I didn't even say builds. It was a man makes a house because the kids are learning to read. Simple words. And I had this man. He was barely more than a stick figure. And I had him with a hammer. And I had some little rectangles that were pieces of wood. And I had him hammering the pieces of wood. And then in the next picture, when you turn the page, you see a finished house. and he's standing there all happy holding his hammer like this. Now, for a 5-year-old, that's awesome. Like, yay. But even as I'm doodling it, I'm like, I'm misleading these children. My best friend is a carpenter, and that's not how you build a, that's you can't build a house with a hammer, with a hammer and some pieces of wood. Tish, at one point in my life, I had 20 different titles of different books I wanted to write. I never approached any of them because I knew, in the words of Winston Churchill, a book is like something you start off with great gusto and excitement, and then halfway through it, it starts to be like you're walking through the thick mud. And then 2/3 of the way through it, you start to hate it. And then 3/4 of the way through it, it is the most miserable thing you've ever done in your life, and you can't stand touching it anymore, and you can't wait till it's over. And 5/6 of the way through it, you want to kill it. You hate it with every passionate fiber of your being. And then finally you finish it, and you're so disgusted you can't even read it, and you fling it out to the public and let them do what they want with it. And then you bury your face and take like a month vacation to recover from the horror of it. And then you come back like a year later and you pick it up and you're like, oh, it's a pretty good book I wrote. So I knew that's what it would be like. So I didn't even start. And that is an inspiring story. No, I totally want to write a book. I want to write all 20 of those books. And you know, it's just, I'm one of those people who has 100 ideas, as you can see in this studio. I just showed you 5 of them, and I know there's only so much time in the day, of the week, or the year, so I try to pick the ones that I really want to do the most, and then the others I just hope maybe someday I'll get to those too. But yeah, I definitely want to do some book writing. Bojangles. See, what I would tell you is take all your jewelry and just put it in a closet. Don't put it in a closet under piles of stuff. Just hide it a little bit and go do something totally different that you want to do. And I guarantee in a month or two, you will come back and want to do jewelry. You'll miss it. It'll be exciting. You don't have to keep doing the same thing if it doesn't bring you happiness. Like I have that video called how to get out of writer's block or artist block. Watch that video. It's all about how the way to get out of it is not to hunker down and force yourself to keep doing your art or your writing. That's what the experts say. The way to get out of writer's block is to just at least put something down on the paper. Type something on the screen every day. Force yourself to do 200 words, even if they suck. I mean, that's one way to do it, but I think that's a stupid way. I think you want to get out of writer's artist block. You put the art down, you put the jewelry down, and go out and do something fun. Go live, you go have some food, you hang out with friends, you do some exercise, you put on some music, you watch some videos on other people making stuff. Not stupid videos like stuff that's going to get you irritated about the state of the world, but like, you know, fun stuff. You do some colorful, fun stuff, and you leave your art behind for a few days. And then come back and pick it up 3-4 days later. You'll be bursting with ideas. Yeah, it's not plywood. It looks like it's plywood from here. It's worse than plywood. I bought myself a giant whiteboard, 4 feet by 8 feet. I got it at Home Depot. It's a hack. You want a whiteboard, dry erase board? Go to Home Depot and buy shower board. Maybe they have it at Lowe's. Buy shower board. You get a 4 foot by 8 foot piece for $13. Buy a 4 foot by 8 foot whiteboard. It's going to cost you $500. You buy 4 foot by 8 foot piece, and usually they have a saw there. They'll cut it up into whatever sizes you want. You can get 5, 7, 10 whiteboards out of it. Well, they didn't have the saw working when I picked up this one, so I had to take home the entire whiteboard. I still haven't cut it up, or maybe I wanted the whole thing solid. It's been like 6 months. I was going to hang it on the wall. So the mall people told me, you can't be here after hours unless you fill out a form. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm going to do that. So instead, I took the big whiteboard, put up against the window, so now they can't tell if I'm here or not. There you go, Betsy Ross. Seed beads. You and Baxter Monkey love your seed beads. Yeah, Jake. Did you guys, everybody see the videos I did where I put seed beads as accents on a normal large stone piece? Because that way you can use seed beads without getting overwhelmed. I mean, even when I had to thread one little wire with about 17 seed beads, they're tedious. They take a long time. Picking up every stinking little one, putting on there and watching. And like 5 minutes later, you're like, am I done? Nope, I only got like a centimeter. Bye, Julie. Do you stalk me or you want to buy stock with me? We have 2 Judys. We have a Judith and a Judy and a Bojangle Judy. How's that song go? Hey, Mr. Bojangle Judy, sing a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Bojangle Judy, play a song for me. Now how's that Bojangles song go? Isn't there a song with the Bojangles in there? There's so many funny songs. There's a Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Because if I was sleepy, I'd be singing to Mr. Tambourine Man. I'd be singing Mr. Sandman. And then there's also Mr. Bojangles. And then there's also, how many Misters are there? Baxter Monkey says, you can't make money off seed beads because it takes you 14 hours to make one bracelet. And then it's a bracelet that people are like, what should I pay for that? 10, 12 bucks? The only way you make money as a seed bead artist is if you hook up with Jennifer Lopez and get her to wear your seed bead creations. And then the paparazzi, I mean, not the paparazzi, all the big rich fans come around. They want to spend $3,000 for one bracelet. I knew a man Bojangles and he danced for me. With happy shoes. Those great worn out shoes. He jumped so high. He jumped so high. And then he came down. And then there's also Rubber Band Man. What's that song about a rubber band man? It's from the 70s, I think. I think it's like a funk song. Yeah, that is Bob Dylan, I think. And then there's, they might be giants if you go all the way to the 90s. There's Particle Man does whatever a particle can. It's by the Spinners. They had the funniest names: the Platters, the Spinners, the Platypuses, the Temptations, the Frustrations, the Good Vibrations. Back then, you wanted to have a band, you could just put the verb ers. The verb ers, and you had a band. The Jumpers, the Verklumpters, the Clappers, the Fly Trappers. Yeah, exactly. Pick an animal. The monkeys, the beavers, the turtles. The pollywogs. The Carpenters, that was actually their last name. So that's not like they're like, hey, let's call ourselves the Carpenters, because it makes no sense. But Mott the Hoople, is that a real name? The Bee Gees. I think the Bee Gees is like the letters B and G, and it probably was part of their names or something. Somebody tell me if you know what that story is. I'm guessing Bee Gees is from the letter B and the letter G, and it has something to do with their name, with the names of the actual members. Just like Hall and Oates. Hall and Oates, they weren't like, hey, let's make a band that sounds like the verb to lift or walking down a hallway, and you know that grain that horses like to eat or that they make Cheerios out of. Let's make a band with those two words. They just happen to be their last names. The Brothers Gibb. Ew, it sounds like the Brothers Grimm, but goofier. I was gonna make a band called Rear View Mirror. I thought that would be cool when I was a teenager. Somebody probably stole it by now. Good night, Tish. And then when I was a young child, I said to my friends, wouldn't it be cool if there was a band that had like guitars and drums, you know, all the stuff that a normal band has, but then they had violins too, like violins and like woodwinds and stuff just mixed in like in a hippie way. Wouldn't that be cool? And my friends are all like, my friends who play guitars, like nobody would listen to that. Guess what came out the next year? Dave Matthews Band with the violin and the whatever other instruments they incorporate. Nantucket Sleigh Ride. The Oats. Walk Away Renee is the name. Baxter Monkey is Googling weirdest band names and just reading them off. That's cheating. She has no affiliation with any of these names. Ziggy Stardust. Now James Hurley's joined in, making up names. Played more violin, Miss Nancy. Vanya, I used aluminum wire for rings, but I hammered it. I would take a long piece and hammer it and then shape it into your ring. It's going to be a little more brittle that way, but once you make it into a ring, it's going to be much harder and stronger. It's not going to smush like clay. I have some videos where I do that. I don't know what they're called, but you can... Here, let me see if I'll find one for you right now. See, I have my other... Is this thing on? Oh, I have 9 minutes. 9% left. I could probably find it. Okay. I have to put in my channel name, Matt's Crazy Art Hammered Aluminum Ring. Let's see if that comes up. Whoops. Oh, I misspelled it. I hate these tiny little buttons. Never get used to them. Never. I never get used to them. Okay, check that out. Simple swirl rose ring, hammered aluminum. There you go. That's me. I don't know why the camera doesn't like to focus. That's me making a hammered aluminum ring. It's, you know, it's kind of beat up looking, but it's cool. So, episode 286. But you got to write Matt's Crazy Art Simple Swirl Rose Ring. You got to write all that. Matt's Crazy Art Simple Swirl Rose Ring. Here's another one where I put a stone in the middle. Hammered metal scroll ring. I called it a scroll. See that little part right there? It looks like a scroll. It's called Matt's Crazy Art Hammered Metal Scroll Ring. Type that in. You can watch that. That's about. Those are the two times I used hammered aluminum to make a ring. Look, that's me. Does that look like me? I like looking at my videos. This is fun. Just go back and look at all my videos. Look at that. I wasn't trying very hard with that one. Someone bought it though, I think, because I don't have it anymore. Oh, I made a lot of videos. Wow. I'm just sit here and look at my thumbnails to my videos. Wow, those are a lot of cool videos I made. Hey, look at that. That's me again. Anyway, what were we talking about? I got kind of caught up in the moment just looking at all those beautiful thumbnails. Oh yeah, little tiny swirls. That's Baxter Monkey's favorite video. You guys don't even know. You young'uns don't even know about these old timey videos. Let me tell you. Matt's Crazy Art. Little tiny swirls. See that? I typed in the whole thing. Little tiny swirls. Watch what comes up. Now this one I stole the thumbnail off of a Google photo, but see, it's real pretty. So that's Little Tiny Swirls, episode 65. Matt's Crazy Art, Little Tiny Swirls. It's a fun one. Yeah, how to wrap a donut video. That's very, very informative. Oh. We're swirling every day, we're whirling just that way, we're whirling that you come home today. I need more water. Trash is so full, nothing stays inside. Good night, Jake. I ran out of stuff to say. What were we talking about? Yes, the bearded dragon. Oh. Michelle, you can put this on and listen all day long. I'm going to get more water. I'll be back. Here's one. I leave waters all over the place, half drank. Look at 3 of them right here. Or that's not me. I hire paid dancers. It's not me. It's just a lookalike. Like the movie Signs. That's my favorite movie by that Shamalama Lama Lama man. Shamalama Lama 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 man. Let's get the guitar. I put it in the other room because it was in the way, but I'll only go get it. Signs made you terrified? But Judy, it's a good story because in the end they win. And it only takes water. How do these people do it where they can get the whole guitar in the video? I'm too close up. Can never see the guitar. Shama Lama 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 man. He makes movies we like to watch. Shama Lama 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 man. He has big twists at the end of his movies. Shama Lama 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 man. Shama Lama 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 man. Shama Lama 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 man. He makes movies that we like to watch. Shama Lama 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 man. These movies have big twists at the end. Can you guess what will happen when his movies end? Can you guess what will happen at the big twist at the end? Shama Lama 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 man. He makes movies that we like to watch. Good night, Medicine Heart. Shama Lama 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 man. Does he ride on a llama? I don't know. Do you know? Shama Lama 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 man. Shama Lama 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 man. He makes movies that we like to watch. Shama Lama 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 man. His movies have a big twist in the end. Does he ride a llama? I don't really know. Is he good at drama? He will make the show. So Shama Lama 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 man. He makes movies that we like to watch. and then the breakdown. Shama Lama 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 man. He makes movies that we like to watch. Shama Lama 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 man. He makes movies like we like to watch. Shama Lama 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 man. He makes movies that we like to watch. Shama Lama 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 man. He makes movies that we like to watch. Does he ride a llama? I don't really know. Is he good at drama? You you just watch the show, you'll find out. Shamalama, lama, 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 man. He makes movies that we like to watch. Shamalama, lama, 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 not a drama, lama, lama, man. He makes movies that we like to watch. Well, James is telling a good story. What's that about? Stephanie, you're not going to be able to sleep. You're going to be like, Shama, Shama, Lama, Lama, man. Shama, man. Shama, Shama, Lama, 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 man. Lama, man. Lama, man. I'll put up the Etsy link. Hold on. Oh, let's see. How do we find this video? There it is. I almost typed Shamalama Man. Ugh, I hate these tiny little buttons. Okay, that should stay at the top of the comments now. Pretty catchy tune. I can't read directions, Betsy Ross. I can't put together anything that requires directions. I bought a slab roller table for the pottery studio. I literally had my little apprentice, my little blonde apprentice, Marley, read all the big bad instructions and put the whole thing together by herself. Can't do paperwork. Can't do taxes. Don't know much about following directions. Don't know much about reading stuff. Don't know much about paperwork. Don't know much about doing things the right way, but I do know that I love singing guitar and playing for you guys. And I know that if you keep watching this show, what a wonderful show we shall have. I don't claim to follow instructions. If I did, I'd probably be better off. But when I see those instructions, baby, I throw them in the trash and put the thing together wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da-da-da-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sure, Sandy Paul, crazy story. Okay, so here's my roundabout way. I went first, my dad's an art teacher. I was drawing since before I could walk, I feel like. Doodling, just doodling. Then I hit 12 and I wanted to make nothing but music. Didn't care about art, just music. 12, 13, 14, all the way up to 19. Tried to be a music major in college, joined a really high-end conservatory. All the kids had been reading sheet music. I still couldn't read sheet music. I was like the illiterate kid in the class trying to do a Shakespeare play. So I had the talent in the ear, but I didn't have the sheet music skills. So after a year of struggling and faking it and trying to make it work, I dropped out, majored in education so that I could have an adult job, because that's what both my parents are teachers, and my aunt was a teacher, my grandmother was a teacher. So be a teacher, you can do all that crazy art and music nonsense on the summers. Have an adult job the rest of the time so you can pay your bills and make something of yourself. I tried that for 5 years. I hated the system. I hated what it did to children, and I couldn't take it. After 5 years, I was out. So then I tried making art and selling it, and 7 years I struggled, made almost nothing, had to move back in with my parents because I couldn't even pay the bills. Anyway, I took you through earlier, if you watched the earlier part of the show, the different types of art I went through. And then, after I was successful in jewelry for a while, I tried to go back to painting, and that's where you see all this stuff on the wall behind me. So I tried to teach myself a style of painting, again, like something different than what was out there, but I wanted to do something I could make a bunch of paintings fairly fast because it was fun. And I started going to art shows to sell the paintings, and I figured out I was really good at talking and I could make up any kind of story about the painting. And at the time I was watching Impractical Jokers nonstop. I had this apartment in Philly and I lived on my couch. I got this really gorgeous apartment because for the first time in my life I was actually making decent money. And it had really high ceilings and 2 bedrooms, even though it was just me. A beautiful kitchen, beautiful living room. And what did I do? I slept on the couch. I had a TV in front of me and a coffee table in between. And I lived in that little tiny corner. And the rest of the entire gorgeous apartment was filled with the same stuff you see back here. Shelves and tables and shelves and tables full of cluttered, half-finished art projects. Whole place was just a giant art studio. It was a mess, but it was full of art, and I made art all the time. And I was living in this little apartment, and I actually had a kiosk in the biggest mall in America at the time, and I would sell jewelry there every day, and then come back and make my paintings at night. And I'm watching Impractical Jokers, the TV show, like 24/7. I just fell in love with those guys because they're so nutty, and I was sure I could be nuttier than them and I could be crazier than them. So I thought I have to make my own show. So I figured I'm going to make my own show, and I'm going to try to shop it to the same network that does Impractical Jokers. And if they don't want my show, I'll shop it to every other network. There's like 400 networks now with cable and everything, and I'll just keep shopping this show until some network picks it up. I'll be perseverant or whatever. So in order to convince them, I needed a show. And the premise of the show was I was going to go around the world, like around the country, maybe around the world, finding artists that do really cool art. And then I was going to showcase them on my show. And then I was also going to act like an insane, crazy person and like fall over and knock paint everywhere and make all kinds of random craziness and make crazy art and sell it and just do wild, ridiculous stuff, like tons of comedy in the middle of showcasing these artists. And so in order to convince networks that this could be a great show, I had to make I had to put together a bunch of little videos, like a little commercial to show what the show would be like. So I came up with like 20 different little skits, like 2-3 minute skits of crazy things I could do with art. And then I bought a video camera and I started trying to shoot one of these little crafty things about once a week. And while I was doing this, not knowing, having the slightest idea how to get in touch with TV executives, figuring when the time came, once I had my little commercial all edited down, and I hired a film student to teach me how to edit, to teach me how to get the program on my computer and edit. I actually bought a very expensive computer so I could video edit. And then I figured once I had my commercial down, I could find somebody who could help me try to find TV executives and learn how to do that, set up meetings and junk. I never got to that point because right around then I had this friend on Facebook. I never met him in real life, but he was a really cool guy on Facebook. And, you know, I talked to him a lot, and he was really he's really smart, and he had a lot of interesting ideas, and the way he'd talk about stuff was really interesting. And I kept telling him, you should write a book. You should write a book. You have such creative, unusual ideas in your head. You should write a book. He didn't write a book. He started a YouTube channel. And his YouTube channel blew up in like 8 months. He skyrocketed to some ridiculous number of subscribers, and my mouth dropped open. And I was like, okay, he's smart and he's clever and he's cool, but just to be super humble, I think I can be more exciting than him. And if he can blow up that fast, forget trying to shop all this to TV executives and spend 3 years like, you know, trying. I'm just going to make my own channel, and I'm going to be broadcasting right away. And which is funny because I think it's March 7th was the first video I put out of 2018. So I just hit my 3-year anniversary. But anyway, so then I started doing that. And I took all those little skits that I was going to put together to make a little commercial to shop to the networks, and instead I made each one of those a video. And that's why if you look at my earliest videos, they're all just ridiculous. Like I had my cat painting a painting, and then I sold it to people and told them it didn't tell them it was my cat who painted it. Told them it was like a gorgeous abstract painting, and I got these people on video. I interviewed them, and I got them on video talking about how the swirls of colors are so abstract and amazing. And thank you, Betsy. And then I had another one where I was like, I'm gonna make a painting by dyeing coffee stirrers, wooden coffee stirrers. I'm gonna dye them different colors of paint, and then I'm gonna glue them onto a canvas and make a whole painting out of coffee stirrers because that's super cool. But just to make it extra insane, I'm gonna make it like I can't just buy a bunch of coffee stirrers. I have to buy a coffee to get each stirrer. So I worked it out with the. I went to like 3 different coffee shops until I finally first I had to get a coffee shop that would sell me a whole box of stirrers. Then I had to get a coffee shop that was willing to play along. And then I had to find some random, I literally tracked down some random guy in the coffee shop and asked him to hold the video camera. And then I had to like explain to the barista what we're doing and what she had to say. And I had to get permission from the manager of the coffee shop to do this little shoot and to let me use up a few minutes of his barista's time. And it worked. It worked because people later on would watch that video and they'd say, "Oh my gosh, that barista was such a jerk to you." Not knowing that like I told her what to say. So great. So yeah, so the idea was she would tell me, "I can't give you a coffee stirrer. I can only give you 2 coffee stirrers for every time you buy a coffee." So I had to buy a whole bunch of coffees because I wanted like 100 stirrers. But then to make it even better, I had to make it like I can't just buy the coffee and get the stirrers. I had to drink the coffee. So I had, so you can watch the video. It's called Matt's Crazy Art Stirry Day. Instead of Starry Night, it's stirry, like coffee stirrer. It just buffered. Sorry about that. It's a stirry day because the painting I did was in daytime. So, and the painting actually was a play off of Vincent's Starry Night, right? So I won't tell you, you got to watch it, but I actually, in the video, it looks like I tried to drink 100 coffees, which I don't anybody ever try because literally, it only takes, depending on the size of the coffee and the strength of the coffee and the type of body you have and whatever, it generally only takes about 15 to 20 coffees to poison yourself of caffeine poisoning in one day. If you drink more than a dozen coffees in one day, you'll probably be throwing up and shaking way before that. But once you cross the 15 mark, you're really, really in danger. Just like alcohol poisoning, you can get caffeine poisoning, like you could really bad, like fatal. But watch it. I won't tell you any of it. I kind of told you most of it, but I won't tell you any of the rest. So you have to, I am Cyborg Guitar Man. Hello. You have to watch it. You have to type in Matt's Crazy Art Stirry, Stirry Day. Matt's Crazy Art Stirry Day. Write that down. Everybody write that down. You got to watch it after the show. And in the earlier videos, like almost the first 6 months of videos, I played the guitar on every stinking video. And sometimes I wasn't even playing anything real. I was literally just going like this. And if sometimes I would record myself doing this. And then I would record myself on top of that doing that again. And then I'd record myself doing this. And I'd put it all together, and then in the background I'd have the video playing. And then one time, because I'd be up all night making videos because I never sleep. I sleep during the day like a crazy nocturnal animal. Then one time I was renting this room from this lady, and I was renting a room in her house. It started out as an Airbnb, and then I just made it like a full rental situation. So I'm in her living room. You know, she gets to get up at 6 a.m, so she's sleeping. Sometimes other Airbnb people would live there, so I don't know who all was there, but everyone was sleeping, and I was up, and it was like 2:30 a.m, and I wanted to make some music to go on my next video. I didn't even have my guitar there. And how could I make music? Well, I went in the basement. I literally went in the basement and I walked around clapping and stomping and slapping my chest and scatting, like, jazz scat. Like I was going, and I was stomping as a so I was doing that, and I'd record myself for 5 minutes doing that. And then I went to put it in the video, and it sounded okay. But then I sped it up double. And if you want to hear that, write this down. Ready? Write down Matt's Crazy Art. I'm sorry, you got to type in the channel name every time, or it'll send you to some other random video. Matt's Crazy Art Ladybug Rings. First of all, it's a hilarious video because I got these little glass ladybug beads at the store. So I created a whole video trying to convince people that they were real ladybugs, and I took molten glass and injected them with molten glass to make these ladybug beads. And I even found footage of somebody putting a needle into, it sounds disgusting, but somebody putting a needle into a tick and shooting hydrochloric acid into the tick, and the tick eventually explodes. And so I took that video and I voiced it over, talking about how I'm injecting molten glass into the ladybug. So in the video, you just see this little round thing, and you see someone actually put a needle inside it, and then you see it explode. And you see, like, it doesn't just explode, like liquid goes out everywhere and bubbles all over the place. And meanwhile, I'm telling people that I'm injecting molten glass into ladybugs. And then in the next scene, you see the ladybug rings. And I'm like, look, I put blue glass into this one and red glass into this one. And then I show you how to wire wrap the beads to make a ring. Not till the end of the video do I tell you that I didn't actually murder a bunch of ladybugs. But I found a bunch of footage of just ladybugs crawling over people's fingers and stuff, ladybugs on trees, ladybugs on... And I put it all together, and I have that music in the background, and so many comments you'll see under the video. I can't believe I couldn't watch it. It made me throw up. He's so horrible. How could you do that to living creatures? You're so awful. It's the best. It was the best. Another time, the deer antler. I was doing a deer antler video, how to wrap deer antlers. It's like some of the first videos I did, how to wrap a deer antler. And the first thing I said was, don't worry, no deers were harmed in the making of this video, because deer shed their antlers, and you could pick them right off the ground in the forest. And so, I said, I don't know if these antlers I have were shed, but I'm guessing they were, because it's the easiest way to get antlers. And I had actually bought a bunch of antlers and chopped them up with my wood saws, because they can cut the same way hardwood can. So I'm wrapping, excuse me, I'm wrapping these deer. This is actually a deer antler piece right here. So I'm wrapping these deer antler pieces in the video, but I couldn't let it go. I knew some people would be horrified if they thought that I actually hurt deer, even though, like, whatever. If you're not vegetarian, and things are happening to animals in order for them to get to your plate. But that aside, I knew some people would be horrified if they thought that I was actually hurting the deer. So after giving them the disclaimer that no deer were hurt, I just went online and I pulled up the most disgusting roadkill videos, photos of poor deer that got hit that I could find. And I just showed one right after another, like in the video, just because back then I did not care about views or subscribers, or I just wanted to laugh at my audience. I wanted to horrify them sometimes. And I thought that was just great. So I got a lot of comments that I couldn't watch the rest of the video. This makes me so happy. I couldn't watch the rest of the video after those deer antler Why did why did you put those roadkill photos? I even like I had the camera zoom in on each video, like each photo, like zoomed, like slowly expanded, like it was all dramatic, and the music was playing, the happy music was playing in the back. Oh, it's so terrible. It's terrible. Absolutely awful. Anyway. Oh. Show us some photos, you're the deer antler man. Put those roadkill photos in your video, 'cause we're all in the mood to be grossed out. And you know how to do it just right. La da da da, la da da da. Yep. Anyway, so you guys have homework to do. Write it down. Everybody get a pen if you didn't write it down yet, okay? You have to put my channel name before you put each video, but you have homework. I'm going to look for your comments. So I want you to put a comment on each of these videos to prove to me you watched them, okay? So this is what you are going to write down. Are you ready? You have your pen? Go get your pen. Get some paper. Oh my gosh, I just totally forgot too. Oh, Catherine isn't here. I promised Catherine I was going to practice this song for her, and I totally forgot to practice. So I'm going to have to do it for Friday. Baxter Monkey, you're going to have to remind me to practice the song for Catherine. So, all right, here's what you're writing down. You ready? Matt's Crazy Art, and then here's the name. Number 1, Stirry Day, Stirry Day, okay? Next one, and you have to type Matt's Crazy Art to get to each one. I'm sorry, but you have to do it, or else they're going to send you to someone else's videos, and you're going to be sad because they're horrible. Matt's Crazy Art, deer antler necklace. There's like 5 of them videos. You just got to find which one. You can watch any of them. I don't care. See if you can find the one that has the roadkill in it. Then you really get points. Matt's Crazy Art, ladybug rings. Ladybug's all one word. Matt's Crazy Art, ladybug rings. And Matt's Crazy Art, little tiny swirls. Okay? You watch those 4 videos, and you put a comment on each one, and I will see if it's Miss Nancy Lee or James Hurley or Lydia or Sandy Paul or Miss G or anyone else. Granny Marge Dragon, Aragon, Beated by Bettina, Michelle. Baxter Monkey's already seen them like a gazillion times. Okay? I will see your comment if you watched it. And don't put a comment like, I watched it, because I don't know if you did. You could be cheating. Put a comment that shows me that you actually saw something in the video that you would only see if you watched the whole thing. Okay, so if you already did that homework, if you've already watched those videos, then you can go back and watch them anyway and put a comment if you want to. You don't have to. If you haven't watched them, you have to watch them. Betsy Ross, you have to. It's not videos. It's just it's a split-second photo of 4 different deer just laying. It's the same thing you'd see if you're driving down the highway long enough. It's just, you know. Okay, that's your homework. You got to do it right now because I'm going to sign off. I could hang out with you guys all night, but I want to save my voice. Thank you, Sandy Paul. All right, Betsy Ross, fine. Watch it and right when you hear me talking about how the deer antlers are shed and no deer were hurt, then pause it and fast forward about 30 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds, and you'll skip all that bad stuff that you don't want to see. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you for hanging out. It was super fun. We got to do this again. Next Tuesday, Friday, we'll have another big stone show. I have hiccups now. And thank you. So I'm going to look. I'm going to count to 10. No, I'm going to count 10 minutes. I'm going to wait 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go look at the comments and see who's watching videos and leaving comments. And if you're not, I will know. Thank you, guys. You're the best. Good night. Thank you.